Alright, so that's recording. Let's make sure my numbers are moving.
Your numbers are
moving. Okay, good. We're trying something different out here for the video component of this. You guys are watching this. I'm here with my sister Brandy, and we're going to do a podcast. I'm going to hit record on here, and we're going to use the old microphone. Alright. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for checking in with us today. This is the Stuff I Heard podcast. Today is August the 22nd, the day after my sister's birthday. Just so happens I was able to get my sister here to do a podcast with me. I've had a lot of people say that they liked her on the podcast before with my brother. We were sitting around acting silly, and it was fun. We had adult beverages, and we had to edit part of that because it was unusable. It seems that one of our siblings is very responsible, and we had to take out a part that he was finding humorous or created, or I don't know, did he do that or did we do that?
I think we did that.
He was just part of it.
Yeah, but I can understand the reasons.
Oh, totally, absolutely. And Alex, if you're listening, we love you, dude. Hope you're having a great day. Teaching young minds and help shape all that future stuff. But anyway, just so happens that my sister's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I invited her over this morning to do a podcast and to have some breakfast. And
by the way, my breakfast was way better than your breakfast.
Yeah. Our breakfast was pretty epic. Just for the listeners at home so that you can salivate, we had eggs, 3 different kinds of cheeses, bacon, sausage, tomatoes, avocado,
and coffee.
Yeah. Oh, so much good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, we had a good little breakfast here, and when I first sent my sister the message and I said, hey, you want a podcast? She goes, what are we going to talk about? And I kind of, I don't know, spur of the moment. You know how my brain works, it's a little off. She said, what are we going to talk about this time? And I wrote bacon, aliens, orange is the new black, CBD, space-time continuum, black holes, and the superpowers with super drawbacks. Because I thought, why not? That'd be hilarious. So we can start with bacon. Well,
on the subject of bacon, I don't think that anybody needs for us to extol the many virtues.
There's a lot of people that are anti-bacon.
No, when we were talking about that, you know, people who say, well, I don't eat pork, and I'm like, I don't understand how you can live a life and not eat bacon.
Well, I work with a lot of guys from different religious backgrounds, and they say that it's religious that they're not supposed to eat bacon, and I get that. Now, I do consume a lot of podcasts, and on there I've heard Joe Rogan talk about the fact that it was put into some old religious teachings because of the fact that they didn't understand what swine flu was, and they would have a grouping of pigs together. They would get swine flu, and they would make people really sick. It would decimate the population of their livestock and everything else, and they thought, oh, this animal's bad. What they didn't understand was the cleanliness of the animal and how they needed to take care of it, and it didn't need to drink its own shit water.
Well, and that's another thing. People are always talking about how dirty pigs are. In all actuality, pigs are not that dirty.
Right.
They roll around in the mud and stuff. They don't have sweat glands.
Right.
They have to keep themselves cool.
Yep.
If you provide them with a place where they can be cool, I promise you they're not going to roll around in shit.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that I work with who they raise mini potbelly pigs.
No.
And he's like, they're adorable. They're like dogs. He said whenever they have to go outside, they're potty trained. They go to the back door and they and they do their little dance by the back door, and you let them out. They do their thing and they come back in. And he says, but they're very clean animals. They actually don't want to get dirty if they can help it. He said the only reason they do that is because they get overheated and they need to cool off. Like you said, they don't have sweat glands. But he said,
can you imagine if you didn't have a sweat gland?
But he said, you know, as pets, that they're very clean and they're very obedient. They learn really fast. They're really smart. Like, you can tell them to do things and they listen, and they're very adaptable.
We have some friends at church who have a pig, Clover. Oh my God, cutest ever. And he's very smart. Yeah. And he's an inside pet, and still really I think he's only about this big, right? So a small pig loves to eat fruit. We'll go to the refrigerator and be like, hey, is there watermelons, grapes, yummy. Then they have this really cool thing. So it's in pigs' nature. They like to root. They're rooting animals. So in the house, they have like one of those big plastic bins, a shallow, and they've got it full of all kinds of like smooth rocks, and they hide treats up underneath the rocks so that Clover has to go in there and root around and find her treats. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're going to have a pet like that, you need to be responsible.
Any pet. Any pet.
If you have a pet like that, then you probably don't need to consider your pet Bacon. And our subject was bacon. So on the subject of bacon,
I would name my pig Bacon.
I love bacon. I don't know what I'd name. I think I would name my pig Wilbur.
I think if I got a little pig, I wouldn't view it as bacon. When I think bacon, I think big, huge, mean-looking, like
hogs.
Yeah, just pigs. You know, not like big pigs. Not. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I will get you some fruit out of the refrigerator, pigs.
You know, it's kind of a weird thing that they chose the eagle as being our national mascot for our country.
Should have just been a big old slice of bacon.
And, you know, Joe Rogan had this comment. He said, what if eagles actually tasted good?
Oh,
you'd be like, I don't know. You can't really have eagles as our national
Well, and I'm
animal.
wondering if maybe that's why they opted not to make the turkey the national bird.
Benjamin Franklin.
A lot of that.
Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey to be
Of
our
course he did,
national
because the turkey was a
symbol.
You know, strong, but
well, and the plumage
also delicious.
The plumage of the toms are just, you know,
huge.
impressive, and you know they're everywhere.
Tastes really good.
And they also taste really good.
I'm sure that it would be generally frowned upon to eat your
national symbol.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what other country has an animal as their national symbol? I mean, I don't know a lot about geography or what they're. This would be where on the Big Bang Theory they'd have fun good flags.
Canada's. Oh no, just kidding.
Canada has the flag. I mean, the maple leaf.
Yeah.
They eat maple syrup.
Not
really the same thing.
To
our Canadian friends out there, hi. Good day, yeah. Here in South Carolina in August, it is the temperature we like to call
hell.
Stank.
Yeah, it's like walking through bathwater outside.
Oh hell no. We call it oh hell no. You know about that? Oh hell
no. So on to the next. Orange is the New Black. Have you binge watched the whole season?
I have.
Did it take you like 3 days?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Netflix, I love you. I really do. And I appreciate the fact that you give me a whole season at a time to watch, but could you really stop doing that? Because now I have to wait a whole another year.
Yeah.
To find out what's going on. So what did you think about this season?
I like it. Just spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the new season of Orange is the New Black,
stop watching for a couple of minutes.
Skip forward a little while. We'll go on to the next subject in a minute. I really like the fact that they moved to Max. I like the new character development.
Really?
I like the interaction with a whole new genre of. I mean, because what they did was a riot. They had
no, I get it.
They had to move it forward towards. Okay, this is the next thing. I don't like the fact that they're pushing Tasha into a situation where she's going to be held responsible for manslaughter
and having to betray her mom.
And no, Tasha's Tasty.
Oh,
Tasty.
Yes, I'm thinking Tasha Leon. See.
Yeah, Tasha. To me, last year during the riot, she should have got an Emmy for her portrayal as Tasty, because that was tear-jerking moments, and she was just trying to get people to pay attention to the fact that her friend was killed and didn't need to be, and she wanted Pescatelli to be held responsible.
She said, all I want for you to do is say her name.
Yeah.
I want for people to know who she was.
Yeah.
And he refused to do it.
Right. And, you know, there's a weird part of the show with Pennsatucky, where she's run off with the dude, and
are you talking about this season?
The creepy dude, the creepy guard, and she had some sense of responsibility of wanting to turn herself in.
I don't remember how they ended up with the other guard.
Because he didn't have a job. Neither one of them had a job, and he was like feeling sad, so they were going to take a road trip together.
I want to go to the amusement park.
I want to go to the amusement park.
That's right.
So it was funny the way they did it, but also a bit irresponsible. In a way, I thought it was very strange that her moral compass came around, and she goes, "No, I need to turn myself in," and I was like, "Really? Okay, I see where you're coming from. You're wanting to have a better life, and you're wanting to do right." And it is interesting that her character has developed so much from being the meth head that she was in the first couple of seasons.
Yes.
You know,
because all those other girls are gone now, aren't they?
A lot of them are gone. Yeah. The other meth heads are gone. We didn't see them at all this year.
No. What's her name? The girl that's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
I do not like where her character went this season.
I don't either.
She gets on my nerves a little bit anyway.
But I see what they're doing. I mean, they needed her kind of to not be in the limelight this year because this season wasn't really about her as much. But she is Fruit Loops. We could just call her Fruit Loops. She is Fruit Loops. There's something about her, the way she talks, reminds me a lot of like a 1940s character who's just, you know, she's happy to be the housewife. She's and like, she wants everything to be perfect.
Like a really bad version of Betty Boop.
Yeah. Very flawed, very funny. I don't think she intends to be funny. I think it's just the thing she does is hilarious. And then her weird relationship with the lesbian with the crazy hair.
That's Natasha Lyonne. See, okay. that's her real name.
I like her. I like her character. This year she kind of played back a bit because this season wasn't really about her as much.
Right. So this season centered really.
She was more trying to just play it straight and not get in trouble.
Yeah, but
I think she
went through a lot of emotional.
Right. Well, she went to Max. And you could tell when they came back, she knew these girls in there. She knew her place was not to be in charge.
Right.
She kind of stepped back and was like, okay, you're the boss.
But now the two sisters.
The Barb and, I forget the other one. Barb and... Deb. Maybe it was Deb.
Anyway, those
are psycho bitches.
I was about to say, those bitches were crazy. Yeah. Crazy. But I do like how that show... You know, you get the little flashbacks, you get the backstories, and now you found the one with the tattoo on her neck. Yeah. You finally get her backstory. Yeah. Why she's at minimum security and how she ended up there, and but you still don't know how she ended up in prison. No. I mean, they show her backstory when she's a child and the stuff her dad put her through to be independent. Her survival training.
And but I love the music. No idea. The fact that they put music in there where it's going to be her doing something as soon as they start that music where it's like, camp girl, here we go, I'm going to figure this out. And she figures out the craziest stuff to do to survive. I did like her becoming friends with Crazy Eyes, Suzanne.
Me too.
I didn't like the way they finished it out with her telling her, I'm not your friend. I did this just to survive. I mean, I get that. I get why they did it. But
it just reiterates, I think,
Suzanne,
what she did to get out of Max in the first place.
Yeah. And
I think it's just really cementing who she is as a character.
I really loved the part where Suzanne was not on her meds and she was hallucinating all kinds of craziness happening around her. I love that. Yes. And her having conversations with her mom who's not there. Yes. I was like, holy shit.
Well, when I first saw I was like, where's her mom's there? No, because that bitch is also crazy.
Yeah. So that was cool as hell. I think it's hilarious whenever they put Suzanne in a situation where people treat her poorly and they don't understand that she's the most dangerous person there.
I don't think that you understand gravity, your situation.
The people who know her from the other prison know I need to take care of her because if she unleashes this, is not good. And they all sort of...
I'll turn Max into a parking lot.
Yeah, she will unleash crazy on you and it's not happy. It's very bad if that happens. She's sort of the pit bull that you want to be friends with and like, here, you want a cookie? Yeah, it's a cookie. Have a cookie. Oh, you're such a good dog. Please don't bite me.
How about how it all ended?
Yeah, with her leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know if... I mean, if you think about the way the show has gone, she has been the driving force of the show from the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. So what are they going to do
now?
But
last year, like the last couple of seasons, she's had less and less of a part.
Well, do you know why that is? Because when they originally agreed to do the television series, it was based on her actual personal experiences, how she ended up going to prison, the kind of people that she met there. It really was a fictionalized account of what truly happened to her.
Right.
But the show gained such huge popularity that even after the story of what she went through kind of ran out, now it's pretty much exclusively fiction. Okay. So they're no longer basing it on her personal experiences. Maybe in some, I'm sure she still consults or whatever. So there's a reason why she's not the focal point of the show anymore. Because now over the course of the last 5 seasons?
I don't know how many seasons.
I think there's 5 or 6 seasons.
I think there's 6.
But there's been
no. The fifth season was the prison riot. So 6th season just came out.
But there's been such good character development. that now those characters can stand
yeah.
on their own.
Yeah. I don't know how they can I mean, I see how they can move forward without her because, like I said, we weren't that invested in her this year.
I don't think that there will ever come a time where she's not part of the show. Like, I still think she'll be coming to visit Alex, and she'll still be like, oh, I mean, she'll be Piper, you know, but I don't think
trying to help her sneak shit in or something.
Well, just trying to be involved in the politics of it all.
Or she'll do another crime just to end up back.
Right.
Because she misses her.
Because she's an idiot.
Or because you're institutionalized. That happens with a lot of prisoners.
Yeah, but she wasn't really in for that long. She only got like, I mean, even though there's
it was originally supposed to be like 5 months or 6 months.
But that's what I'm saying. Over the course
she kept getting shots for things, and then they kept adding
6 years
time.
worth of television, but I think it only actually covers just a couple of years worth of you know, their time. So.
Is that sun in your eyes? I can close it.
Yeah, it keeps. No, it's the one up there. You can't close it because it's way up there.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Anyway, down here like
we're trying to do that. We're adjusting in the studio here. This is
what's next.
We call our kitchen the studio right now.
Right. CBD?
CBD. Okay, CBD oil.
So I've not done all the research probably that you wanted me to do, but I can probably talk to you about a little bit, give you some basic information.
Okay.
So CBD oil, as I'm sure all of you at home know, is a cannabis derivative. It is 100% legal. You can purchase it online. You can go to some of these vape shops and purchase oil to put in your vape pens. It has had all of the psychoactive ingredients removed. And what that means is there's no THC, so you're not going to get stoned. It can be used topically or orally. They make a lot of creams and stuff that you can use for joint. And you can use CBD oil for everything from joint pain to depression, loss of appetite, things like that. I have a friend who's a cancer patient, and her friends noticed that her entire attitude, her whole demeanor had changed. And so I sat down one day and I talked to her, and I was like, have you ever considered trying this? A lot of people are not willing to actually go out and smoke pot. You know, the stigma attached to whatever, I will never understand it. But I asked her if she would be interested in trying it. Mm-hmm. So I ordered her some, and she started taking it. And orally, as a tincture, you put it in your mouth, under your tongue. You hold it there for as long as you can, and then you swallow it. It's pretty gross. I highly recommend having a juice or something to take a swallow of after. It does not taste good. And then another friend who has severe joint pain in her knees, and we ordered her cream, like just lotion. Comes in a tub, and you just rub it on your joints. And with continued use, just like with anything else, it can help to alleviate or even sometimes cure whatever is happening with you. The American government is not going to be able to deny the benefits of CBD or cannabis in general for much longer.
Yeah.
There's just too much information available to the general public at this point about what it can accomplish.
Yeah, and there's too many avenues of being able to let people know what's going on, whether it's through social media, YouTube, podcasting, whatever.
Google.
You know, there's lots of information out there. There's plenty of podcasts where they talk about it. You know, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and he has people on there talking about the health benefits of cannabis, you know, the CBD oil, non-psychoactive oil. And, you know, he was saying that it's helping a lot of patients with epilepsy and Parkinson's and you know,
so many things.
Cancer patients who are having
everything.
You know, depression and can't consume food because their appetite is gone and all this other stuff, and rheumatoid arthritis where it's helping them with joint pain. And it's like, okay, well, you know, obviously there's more information out there that we're not getting to everybody. So I wanted to continue to talk about it. I wanted to continue to bring it up. You know, my mom has rheumatoid arthritis. It has been a concern of mine that maybe it's something that would help her. I know that, you know, because of this diet that we're on, this keto diet, it is consuming a lot less glutens and a lot less carbs and a lot less sugar and all of that stuff. All of that stuff inflames your joints, and without that stuff in your system, of course, it helps also. So, you know, every little bit would help. You know, but I don't want my mom to be uncomfortable and hurting whenever she's moving. I mean, you know, I know that they don't have a cure for RA right now. Right now, RA basically tricks your body into thinking that your good cartilage is a disease, and it fights it and it destroys it. And what a miserable existence. You think about everything in your body that moves, and if suddenly you don't have cartilage there, it's bone on bone grinding, and it's awful. And right now the only treatment is her taking these expensive chemo type infusions that are basically poison, because it tells your body, hey, we got to fight this instead of this cartilage. It gives it a different poison in your body to fight, and that's awful. And that to me is at the core of this war against cannabis. You know, Big Pharma wants to continue to be Big Pharma. Yeah. And the benefits of cannabis are innumerable. There are so many things that you could use that for instead of going out and spending $600 or $1,000 on a bottle of medication. It's been proven to cure certain types of cancer. I think really the point I'm trying to make is it's important for you as an individual and for us as a society to educate ourselves, to not just blindly put our faith in something that we've heard over and over and over for so many years. It's important for you to go out and ask the questions, do the research, you know, start up the conversation, and let's start really getting honest with one another about things that we've been lied to for so long, especially by companies like Big Pharma. And now listen, that's not to say, I know that they have done many, 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 many good things, but ultimately they are a profit-driven machine. Right. I mean, they're not really interested in your well-being. I'm all for vaccines. I'm all for, you know, finding cures for things, and I'm all for medicines that work. But let's face it, for the majority of the time, the pharmaceutical companies have come up with ways to make you mildly better, not to cure you, because there's more money in making you mildly better. And it's not just that, all of these medications that they're putting out, oh, you know, we're going to give you this medication for arthritis, but it's going to cause gas with anal leakage. I mean, it seems to me the side effects are just as bad, if not worse, than the things that they're trying to cure. And so because you have these horrendous side effects, guess what they're going to do? They're going to prescribe you another pill. Yeah. That's right. I had a friend of mine. It's a vicious cycle. It's awful. I had a friend of mine who wanted to quit smoking, so they prescribed him Chantix, which then gave him night terrors, and he was like, I can't sleep. So they gave him like a sleeping aid. Well, then that affected, something about that affected his libido, so he had to start taking something to booster that. And they did some kind of test on his hormone level, and his testosterone had dropped down to nothing. So they had to give him testosterone shots, and then that was causing him to have anger issues. And then they had to give him some other kind of medicine to control the anger issues. And he goes, "Fuck all that! I'll smoke a damn cigarette. Fuck off!" Now all he took this pile of medicine, threw it to the side, and he just started smoking a cigarette again. He goes, "I'll just deal with this because I can't deal with all this other crap." $5 a day on a pack of cigarettes, which admittedly is expensive. It's a filthy habit. Yes, whatever. But now you're going out, and in the course of a few months, you've gone from I want to quit smoking to taking 6 different kinds of medications, and it is consistently a vicious cycle. Yeah, and most people will do whatever their doctor says. Most people will be like, "Yeah, I'm on board. Whatever I'll have to take." Yeah. But you see people taking blind faith, buttloads of medicine at one time. I mean, I will admit, I am extremely lucky in the fact that I don't have an addictive personality. I haven't gotten hooked on anything. I don't have any health problems where I have to take any medicine on a regular basis. Once in a while I'll get a headache and I'll take some medicine, but I am extremely lucky. I am the few. I am, I don't know, a genetic miracle or something. My mom and my dad wear glasses. I don't have to wear glasses. My mom had surgery on her knee. My dad's had his knee replaced. My knees are fine. I don't know how I ended up healthy and they did not, unless it's a generational thing where through something in the food I've gotten healthier than them. I don't know, but thank God, knock on wood. But I do know people who take a gang of medicines every day. I mean, especially, oh my God, especially our elderly. Yeah. And I think they just take whatever you hand them because they don't have a choice. Because you put such blind faith in your healthcare professionals. You say, well, this person went to school for 8, 10 years and they did residencies and they know all of the things there is to, they really, really,
Listen, there's a reason that they call it practicing
Yeah.
medicine, not I know everything medicine.
I'm always hesitant of anybody saying this is the absolute end-all be-all.
You can't.
I get the fact that in science there is some things that are absolute. I get that.
Sure.
But people who claim to know what's going on when they don't, that's when I have a problem. All right, so anyway, what was the next subject?
I believe it was the space-time continuum.
Space-time continuum. There's a lot of like shows.
I'm not educated on the space-time continuum.
There's a lot of shows that intertwine things having to do with space-time continuum.
I guess I do understand the taste.
Time travel, is a big subject that a lot of shows
Is it possible?
Material on.
So I can break it down for you because this is, and I'm sure that there are plenty of Big Bang Theory watchers. So this is kind of what string theory applies to, right?
Yeah.
So, do we have a string? Do you have anything like a string?
I mean, I have string in the closet.
Okay. Well, so let's just imagine a string.
Okay.
Right? And you imagine a string, and this is time running along the string.
Yeah.
This is how a lot of people view time. It's very linear, and it moves from one direction.
Yeah.
But if you crumbled that string, just balled it up and dropped it on the table, that's where string theory kind of comes in. So all the places where the string touches, they're saying that you're capable of moving from this time period to this time period, jumping from one side of the string to the other, where they touch. That's kind of how it was explained to me, and it's the way in my brain I can more easily understand what string theory is, and what the space-time continuum represents.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I got. I'm all done. Thank you and good night.
I listened to a lot of podcasts, and one of them had Neil deGrasse Tyson on it, where he was talking about the possibilities of the universe and how little information that we actually know.
Dude, the possibilities of the universe are infinite.
Endless. Yes, it's endless. It's infinity times infinity. He was talking about the idea of the multiverse, and he said, if you look at the expanse of the universe, then as we're learning about things like antimatter, he said the name of it is just wrong altogether. Antimatter is not the absence of matter. It's just there's nothing there. And he said the antimatter within the universe is so vast that it outweighs the matter, exponentially. But he said that...
Are you feeling smarter?
What they're studying about, the farthest reaches of the known universe that they can see, the known universe that they can see, is that each one of those little dots out there represents another galaxy, another solar system, another star.
And there are millions of them.
With infinite possibilities of life that is out there. And there is the theory that our life is being repeated in each one of those scenarios, because as they study outward, there is a realization that some of it comes inward. Their recent study on gravity is making them realize that there is a real possibility there was no Big Bang, and they used to think that there was a Big Bang, it was created everything, and then the universe was going to expand, up to a certain point, and then it was going to start to implode on itself. He said that theory is now being thrown out because what they're theorizing now is that there is no beginning and there is no end, and that it just continues to live and breathe just like we do. There's
not a fair...
There's an interesting mapping of the known stars around us in the universe and how similarly they are connected to our own brain and the synapses in our brain, the way they're mapped out.
This is making my brain hurt.
One of my favorite discussions he talks about is how in school, when we were kids, we used to think that the Earth went around the sun on a flat level. You always had the model in science class where the sun was here and the planets went around it in a linear plane. He said then somewhere along the way we realized, okay, not all of them are on a linear plane. Some of them take an elliptical pattern, some of them kind of wobble as they go around. He said then you start to understand that the sun is a star in the Milky Way galaxy, which means it's spinning around a center point. It's not stagnant, it's moving. So whenever we say that there's an asteroid belt coming through, the asteroids aren't actually moving. The asteroids are stagnant. It's us that are flying by it. And he said the crazy part is our sun is moving around our galaxy at 33,000 light years per second. He said if he could slow it down, it would look like a baseball pitch. Whenever a pitcher throws a baseball and they slow it down, and you see the ball move, and as it's moving, the dust particles are flying around in like an orbit with it. That's what the planets are doing as the sun is hurtling through space. Let that melt your noodle for a second.
No, I don't. Listen, my noodles all melted. I can't.
I have a theory because I've heard this theory before, and I've mentioned this to a few people. I have a theory that if there's such a thing as a multiverse, then could we then say that all religions are somewhat the same in the fact that there could be a creator, there could be the idea of a rebirth if God says that He made us all in His image, we're supposed to love each other as our neighbor, and the idea of rebirth could be the light at the end of the tunnel is also the light of the birth canal. And could we all be living a different life each time, and we're all the same person because we are the experience of God, because our life is the experience of God, and we're supposed to know what it's like to live. We're supposed to know what it's like to have joy, sadness, pain, sorrow, fulfillment. We're supposed to know what it's like to be the perpetrator and the perpetrated. But we live our lives sometimes as the example and sometimes as the observer. Like there was a shooting at a.
No, this time around I'm the example, I think. So
there was a shooting at a theater out in Colorado one time, or a mall at Colorado, and I remember having this discussion with Mom. I said, "What if, in my example of my life in this multiverse, I'm the observer and I'm observing this happening to all these other people so that I learn these lessons of how awful life could be, but also how precious life could be. But in somebody else's version, it's me in that movie theater and they're living the life from the outside seeing it." Now, of course, all of this is all hippy-dippy kind of crazy ideas, and if you live somewhere that's not America, where you're in a war-torn country, you're listening to this thinking, shut up, you fucking idiot. But here's the idea. What if in someone else's version, America's the country that's constantly at war, and it's not the Middle East? What if our version is just the version we see?
What if we aren't the greatest country in the world?
We are not the greatest country in the world.
You understand what I'm saying. So I wanted to weigh in on the very beginning of what you said about religion. Me personally, yes, I don't say I'm a Christian. I am a Christian. I believe in a higher power. I believe in something bigger than what I am. But I don't think that me being a Christian means that is mutually exclusive from me embracing or understanding or appreciating aspects of other religions.
Right.
For example, I find Wicca fascinating. I think that the way that they view unity with nature and with themselves and with other people and with elements, and I find that very appealing. Mm-hmm. And it speaks to a part of me, but I don't think that because I agree with and believe in those things, I don't think that makes me a bad Christian.
I was friends with a lady who was Jewish, and she told me that I
think that's very interesting.
One of the neat parts of their religion is they're taught to constantly question things.
Yes.
And in the Baptist community, you're not.
No.
You're not supposed to question.
Well, no, I'm not a Baptist, though. I grew up in a Baptist church.
This is the thing, and this is how it goes. And if you don't like it, you go to hell. Well,
which is why I like Baptist churches.
You know, Catholics and Jewish people are taught to constantly question things. You know, if you watch any old movies, you know, where they have a Jewish rabbi, it's always their congregation coming up to the rabbi and saying, "Rabbi, what if this? What if this scenario? What if this scenario?" Because it's supposed to be a discussion. Now, my dad and I talked about this recently. There's a YouTube video I put out on my YouTube page, Joshua Peak. You can go back and look at it. I'll link a discussion that my dad had, R Peak, if you want to find him on there. Jason discusses the Torah and the Bible, and he talks about how in the original text, everything was in pictograph form, and it was done in a way that was considered poetic. In the old Hebrew, it was written in a way that you're supposed to interpret it in different ways, because the idea was that you were going to have a conversation. And here we are, over 2,000 years later, and we're still having conversations.
Having a conversation.
It was done on purpose. Now, there's a lot of people who say you shouldn't contemplate the possibility of this and that, and if you do, you're a hedonist, or you're
a heathen.
You're a heathen, you're an anarchist, or whatever. I don't agree with that. I think that you're supposed to contemplate everything. And
ask the questions, educate yourself.
As much as I believe in science, I also believe in religion. I have faith. You don't always know about everything, and at a certain point, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. One of the smartest people in the world, Albert Einstein, said, "You cannot have religion without science, and you can't have science without religion." He said, at a certain point, we all boil it down to what we call the God effect, or we don't know. We don't know. There's a certain thing that happens that we don't know, and as much as I applaud the efforts of trying to understand everything, I'm also hesitant, again, of anybody who says this is the absolute XYZ, because if you think about our place in the universe, like I said, sun hurtling around at 33,000 light years per second, and we're just debris hanging around behind it. It's a miracle that we're even alive and here and having this conversation. Now, here's my point. We have perception of what it's like to be us, but we don't have perception of what it's like to be a housefly. Who,
thank God,
once they move from a larva to a fly, they're only alive for 24 human hours.
That's not true. I read an article. That's not true. A lot of people think that it's true. Flies live a lot longer than a day.
Okay. How long?
Like a week.
Okay, so
a week to 10 days, which is still in
but that's a lifetime to that fly. Now.
But this is why. How come you find that one fly and you're like, how does that fly keep getting in this? It's the same fucking fly.
Right. So that's an entire lifetime to that fly. Now, to that fly, that may be a lifetime. To us, it's like a few days. Whatever, a week. What are we like to animals who truly live a long time in our perception, like a whale?
Do we seem,
or a sea turtle who live, as far as we know, 500 to 800 years old? Are we like flies to that thing? Are we like buzzing around and it's like, get out of here?
And when flies look at us, do we seem, or better yet, dogs? You get a dog, and a dog will usually be with you for the entirety of its life.
Yeah.
Right. So do we seem immortal to them?
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean? Like.
Well, and if they have the ability to communicate, can they transfer information to other dogs and be like, hey, this is a good
human. I absolutely believe they can do that.
This is a good human. You're gonna like this human.
This
there's a lot of people who believe that dogs are a gift from God,
because a dog is the only creature in the world who will love you more than they love itself.
Right.
There's nothing else in the world.
And through evolution, they were originally wolves who needed to come in from the cold and survive through the winter, and humans befriended the dog, the wolf, to become domesticated. And the dog realized, hey, I got a good life here. If I just kind of ward off other things, I get to be fed and petted, and I get to stay inside where it's warm.
Sleep in a bed? What?
I mean, it's evolution, but it's also faith. It's also a mutual benefit to both. But yet, today in 2018, we look at that as a version of love. For if we get a dog for our kids, that is the first understanding that a kid has of love unconditionally. Even though as a parent you love them unconditionally, they don't necessarily feel that love back the same way. But when they have a dog to care for, and they play with the dog and they hug the dog and the dog licks their face, it's an unconditional love that they're introduced to. Ironically, it's also the first introduction you're going to give your kid to death. Because dogs don't live very long. They're going to die. So, take this with a grain of salt. When you get your kid a puppy, you're also going to be teaching that kid about death before long, which is important.
It's a dog. So, the boys.
Yeah.
My kids turned 5 last year, and I said, I think 5 is a good age for a pet. Well, I want to get them a dog. And of course I wanted to go to the shelter because adopt don't shop is a good policy, even though they're like, I like breeds like Great Danes and things like that, but I'm not going out and spending $1,000 on a dog.
Plus a Great Dane is tendency to grow
full of health problems.
They grow too fast, their heart can't handle it, and they die really, really.
So I was gonna, we're gonna go to our local animal shelter. And I'm going to let the boys pick out, I don't care if they want a puppy, an old dog, whatever. I'm going to let them pick out a dog, whatever they want. But it's so loud in the kennel section of any Humane Society because it's all concrete for ease of cleaning, which means it does nothing but echo. And if you have more than 3 dogs, it's just this cacophony. And neither of my kids are like, I can't take it, I can't take it, I can't take it. And we ended up with a fucking cat.
Cat.
Not really cat person. I like animals. I like other people's cats. I like the one cat I had when I was in my early 20s. And Squirrel, she's cool, she is, but she lives under my feet. She makes me insane. So now,
They
and
named
then...
the cat Squirrel?
Huh?
They named the cat Squirrel?
The cat's name was Squirrel when we got her from the Humane Society, and they liked it, so that's her name. Squirrel. Yeah. And they love that movie Up, too, so Squirrel. And then this year, right before their birthday, and I remember saying to their dad, well, what about a guinea pig? I don't want a fucking rat. Guess what we have in our house? There's a guinea pig in my house. So now I have like a cat and a guinea pig, and I still want a dog, but I don't have time to train a dog now. And now the boys, especially Gabe, he's like, I want a dog. I'm like, okay, well... And I want a dog.
Yeah.
I want a dog.
It makes me wonder how Amber does it. You know, Amber's got, I think they have 3 or 4 dogs. They recently got a Great Dane puppy. And he's growing really fast.
They grow crazy fast. But they are the best dogs, especially around children.
Yeah.
For as big as they are more aware of their size than other large breed dogs. Yeah. But they are so
friendly,
gentle,
protective.
Especially because they're more aware of their size.
Yeah.
They're really, really, really good with children.
Yeah. We had Great Danes growing up.
I love them.
They were extremely kind.
Just very loving animals.
Very protective, very gentle. But if you didn't belong in our house, they let you know. Hey, you're no good around here. You need to get out of here. And they would let you know, and you wanted to get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, and we didn't just have Great Danes. I mean, we had all the large breeds. We had Roddy. We had a Rottweiler.
Doberman.
We had Dobermans. Labradors. Yeah. And then we had some small. We had a Cocker Spaniel.
I hated that fucker. That dog would bite me. Because I would come in at night and they always had him by the back door. Every time I opened the door, the dog would bite my ankle. I'm like, I live here. Freaking stop it.
Max is my favorite.
Max was cool. Max we had from a puppy. Max was a Great Dane.
He was wonderful.
Dog. He was cool. But yeah, we did not have a dog. We chose not to have a dog here because of having 3 kids. And because of my work schedule, I was not here to help out. And it was all my wife could do to wrestle 3 teenage boys. And we couldn't add a dog into the mix. It was just too much. But, you know, in a perfect scenario, yeah, I would have liked it for them to have a dog. That would have been great. I'm still going to
get one. It's just a matter of working 2 jobs and trying to train a dog.
Okay, so...
And that's lots of work.
Space-time continuum, we kind of got off track there. Black holes. I have a theory.
Oh.
Okay, so there's the study of black holes, right? I have a theory.
Is that called black holeology?
Sure.
Okay.
What if, like, we always fantasize about black holes being in movies of being this thing that sucks in energy. It has what they call an event horizon, where basically all matter breaks down into what they consider the most pressure and the point where they can no longer track whatever it is that it sucks in. These things are way out in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of theories in science fiction where they think that maybe these are wormholes that you go in the black hole and you come out the other side. I have a theory that black holes are not measurable in 3 dimensions. I have a theory that black holes, while they suck in energy, that energy goes somewhere. I think that energy comes out in a sun, in a star. We don't know how stars are created. We don't know why they have the energy they have. What if black holes are actually sucking in all that energy and creating a star, but we don't know where the star started. We don't know how it happened. We don't know why it suddenly
Because now they've all of a sudden discounted the Big Bang Theory.
Right.
Well.
That's my theory.
Isn't that smart?
So
I'm lucky to put my shoes on the right feet.
This is some of the craziness I think about at the spur of the moment.
But I think it's because you spend so much time driving.
I don't drive as much anymore. I ride. I ride in the passenger
Which
seat a lot.
for me, I don't. I spend most of my time thinking, when is my next day off?
Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump forward. Superpowers with super drawbacks. This is one of my favorite discussions.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea is, you know, what if you had a superpower, but there was also a super drawback to your superpower? Like every time.
I feel like every superpower already has a super drawback.
Every time you go to use your superpower, something bad happens and it's embarrassing.
Have you seen any superhero movie ever?
No. I'm taking this a step further, okay? Let's say that you have the ability to fly, but every time you fly, you convulsively vomit the entire time you're flying.
I thought he was going to say something like, every time you fly somewhere a fairy dies or something. No. Instead, I'm just going to spew vomit across everyone that happens to be beneath me.
Right. Or you have the power for invisibility.
But you fart the whole time?
But
so then everybody knows you're there anyway?
As soon as you're visible, you're naked and you shit constantly for 1 hour.
Okay, I can't. I can't with the...
Where are you going?
Stand up.
Come on.
I need to stand up. Stretch my legs.
Superpowers or super drawback?
Let's see.
What if you could read people's minds, but the flip
only the
side,
bad shit they think about you.
But the flip side of it is, when you do, they can also read your mind at the same time.
Oh no!
What if you could travel through time?
Oh god!
But every third time you do it, you travel through time without any control of when or where you go.
No, I don't want to. No. Would you really? I mean, like, if they had all these super drawbacks, would you still want the superpower?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to fly. I don't care who I'm on.
Everybody would.
That's probably true.
Everybody would be like, yeah, I'll do it. Whatever. I'll explain it later.
That's probably true.
I did this one day with Jacob, and it turned into a 3-hour discussion. Jacob's mind, the way he works, is a lot like mine. He come up with the craziest.
Kid.
He'd come up with the craziest stuff, and I was like, that is really good. Anyway, think on that, because you might come up with something down the road, and we'll come back to it at another episode.
This will be the way we end all of our podcasts.
Yeah.
From now on, just me and you. We'll do superpowers and super drawbacks.
Well, I'll contemplate it from time to time and come up with a new one.
You don't really want for him to contemplate. It's so scary.
Listen, that's my superpower. I'm just saying. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Check out social media. I got the YouTube page, Joshua Peak. You can reach me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page called Stuff I Heard.
He's all over the interwebs.
You can find me on Instagram under JTATPEEK. My sister's on Instagram under Not the Willy Wonka. Not the Willy Wonka.
Do we all know why I'm not the Willy Wonka?
Because you don't sugarcoat shit.
It's not my job to sugarcoat shit.
There you go. But yeah, drop us a line, say hey, tell us what you think. If you want to be part of the podcast, reach out to us. Like I said, I got different media platforms. I know One Lonely Farmer's reached out on when I did a live version recently. If you don't know who One Lonely Farmer is, check him out. He's on all platforms under the name One Lonely Farmer. Congratulations to you, buddy. I see you just had a kid.
Yay!
It's a big deal, man. I'm real proud of you. But yeah, I do want to do a podcast with you, so reach out to me and we'll get together and do that. I got more lined up in the future. Stay tuned, and I promise I'll keep getting better. This is an experiment. So thank you for watching or listening or both. Oh, this is available on YouTube, by the way, if you want to watch the video version of this, of us acting silly. And that's it. Bye.
Yeah.
I hit stop on this.